G'day folks, it's Nathan here, FVR375 on the channel, and today in my capacity as the professional shooting and occupational shooting representative for Shooters Union Australia. So today we're going to crack on with Suppressors in Queensland update number 9, and the more astute of you will have noticed that it's been about 5 months since we've done an update, and the reason it's been 5 months, which is obviously a little bit of a gap compared to what we've been doing previously, is we've had a Queensland election in the middle of that. So just to recap where we were last year prior to the election, essentially a suppressor demonstration had been conducted by Queensland Police for the relevant ministers and staff. By all accounts, despite the fact that no external stakeholders were invited, that was conducted professionally and it was a worthwhile activity. And at the completion of that, we did have some undertaking through Ag Force, Shooters Union and other stakeholders that the Queensland Police Minister was looking towards making that regulation change to bring Queensland into line with other states so that occupational users of suppressors could have them. Now, with that particular issue, as has been a very common theme with that particular Labor government, they dragged their feet on that issue, they provided no timelines, and then we slid into caretaker mode prior to the Queensland election, and no movement occurred, which is just more of the same from that crowd. So obviously at election time, the Queensland public voted with their feet, unhappy with where we'd been under the previous Labor government, and we gained a coalition government who've really just had the opportunity to come into power, get their feet under the desk, and are already making some pretty positive changes in a number of areas, which is great to see. So in terms of the current update, really the two things to talk about are the fact that we have had that government change. And probably the most important thing out of that really recently was a meeting that occurred between Shooters Union Australia and the Queensland Firearms Dealers Association. And at that meeting we had the Police Minister, we had the Agriculture Minister, we also had the Customer Services and Open Data and Minister for Small and Family Business present, which is a great turnout. And essentially Shooters Union tabled a document with a significant number of issues, around 100, that highlighted historical issues where communications have been poor, where the system needs streamlining, and then a whole bunch of other licensing, regulation and general firearms issues that needed rectification in conjunction with the Queensland Dealers Association. So that's an excellent document. It was put forward, and probably the best thing about that meeting was the fact that it was well received. We had a group of ministers who were open and committed to listening to what the issues were, and that is something that we have not had in Queensland in a significant period of time. So that's excellent. And clearly one of the issues that was raised in that document is that movement of suppressors out of Category R into an alternate category via a regulation change, which will then bring Queensland into line with other states and allow those positive WHS outcomes for professionals and occupational users in Queensland to use suppressors on their firearms. So whilst that's quite a broad update, it's really good news in terms of the fact that an open dialogue's occurred. We have some good communications lanes in place between key organisations with government, and that's certainly an improvement on where we've been previously with this issue. So moving forwards, we're in a strong position. We're going to let the government do what they've been doing, which is get on top of the issues that are pressing and need to be dealt with, and then allow them some time to understand what the issues with relation to firearms are, and then move forwards on those issues. And certainly indications are that there's an understanding that the system can be streamlined and some improvements can be made. So I really look forward to seeing what happens next, and it's probably the most positive I've been through this entire process so far. In terms of what you can do as other people who support the issue and that introduction of suppressors in Queensland, Keep doing the same thing. So writing to your local member of parliament is useful. Watching these updates is useful, but I dare say probably the most useful thing you can do is join an organisation such as Shooters Union Australia, and specifically I would recommend that you do join Shooters Union Australia because they are out there supporting what we do. So, get involved in the process. One of the key issues in Australia has always been with firearms that we tend to stand back and admire the problem when the problem doesn't affect us, but ultimately we end up being divided and conquered in that sense. And so, it is definitely worthwhile joining one of the groups that supports us both in the industry and in recreational shooting and hunting in Australia. Anyway, that pretty well rounds out this update. Again, really positive stuff. Awesome to see a government that is committed to listening to constituents, which is, again, something we haven't seen in a little while. And then to do it with the right people in the room who are committed to making sensible change and reform where it's required. Because at the end of the day, what we're seeking here is not radical outcomes. It's bringing Queensland into line with other states. It's streamlining the system and making it a little bit more efficient. And enabling that capacity to have an open dialogue so that when there are issues out there, we can resolve them. And I guess the occupational suppressor issue, it links back to a number of other issues. It's not just WHS, it's efficacy when conducting culling of feral pests. And as we can see in a number of the news reports, etc. now, primary producers are under the pump. There are a lot of issues out there, and under the current rulings, there's a lot of those primary producers don't have adequate tools to enable them to get the job done. And that's certainly something that AgForce has been raising on a regular basis. The bringing suppressors into Queensland for primary producers and occupational users is a key part of solving that problem to enable some better outcomes in the field. Anyway, thank you for watching the update. Hopefully the next update won't be too far off and can be a little bit more specific. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted, but rest assured, we are certainly moving forwards with this issue, looking forward to dealing with the current coalition government through the right channels. And definitely find it positive that we've had a big change from the way that we've been dealt with previously under the Labor government. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Feel free to comment. Cheers.